Hyundai announced a big investment plan today, translated to $51 billion over 3 years in EV technology, software-defined vehicle technology. What's the most immediate way that will be felt and seen in the U.S. market? Is it in the next generation of EVs?
Well, there is a lot, really a lot going on. And I would like to start maybe by what happened just a couple of hours ago when I was honored to receive the Ioniq 5N World Performance Car of the Year. You know, what way to start the New York show. 4 awards for the same car.
I know the Ioniq 5 just keeps winning World Car Awards.
It is unbelievable. So 2 years ago, the World Car of the Year, the EV Car of the Year, the Design Car of the Year, and then this year the Performance Car of the Year. So wonderful. So then you see some of the places where the money is going. We like to have really very strong plans, but we want also to start seeing the impact now, not just in the future. So that was fantastic. But getting a little bit earlier, so earlier this week, we had big announcements for Genesis. Mm-hmm. So we had the introduction of Magma, which is the top trim performance for our brand, with 4 cars. So the Genesis X Berlinetta concept, beautiful. Then the GV80 Coupe, also Magma. And then the G80 Magma and the GV60 Magma. And then when everybody was blown away, then we presented the concept, how we call it, the Neo Loon,
yes,
which is really something else, very distinctive design, coach doors, ultra luxury. Is really wonderful. So I think that was already quite something, right? A lot of journalists who attended the event, they say, well, normally OEMs present maybe 1 car, maybe 2, but then, hey, you came up with 5 for Magma and then the Neo Loon.
Is that Berlinetta? Is that going to get made? Or you make a few of those?
Well,
maybe?
we'll make our best effort to get this done. We'll make our best efforts.
The others are all committed to being manufactured, at least in some limited form.
Yeah. And then, our company is not a company that likes, making concepts that are not going to be made. So we'll push for that. We'll see.
So you had the heat with the Magma, volcanic heat, and then the cool in the Neoloon.
That is right. And then we had today the Ioniq 5N, and then we had our press conference. We presented the new refresh Tucson and also the refresh Santa Cruz. So, and then this is obviously part of the aggressive commitment that we have with the U.S. market, which I think the most important one is the factory in Savannah. So I've said it a couple of times the last few days that we double down on EVs. We continue to see a very strong performance on EVs, right? So last year we doubled, and this year we are doubling compared to the market. The market is growing at 17% on EVs. We are 38%. EVs plus plug-in hybrids, 54%, right? So we stay the course with our plant in Savannah, and we are hopeful that we will start producing in October this year.
So I want to, building on those EVs and this big investment in EV technology, where do you see Hyundai in making progress toward carbon neutrality?
Well, our commitment is to achieve the carbon neutrality for the group by 2045. This is a very comprehensive plan that we have deployed, and it's not simple, because our group is vertically integrated, so we do a lot of things as you know. So that's our commitment, and we're well advanced on it.
Can I just circle back to what you were saying about all of the announcements that you've had in New York? It's very clear that Hyundai and Genesis are really taking center stage here, but it's happening in the industry as well. Can you talk a little bit about the brands, where they are now and where we're going?
Well, for us, I think New York is the most important auto show in the country. We've got a tradition to always be having a very strong presence here. For me, this one is very also important because it's my 5th anniversary with Hyundai and Genesis, so it's very, very special. And then, we like showing and sharing the things that we're doing, which in many cases is not only a first for us, but it's a first for the industry, right? And then, as Jamie mentioned earlier, so it's not only about the production, it's not only about the cars that we are announcing, but it's also how we see the future, right? And the software-derived vehicles, and then changing completely the concept of how we produce and design the cars. We try to bring it here, and we are really making good strides towards that. We want the new products produced in our plant, the so-called Meta plant in Savannah, to be a very clear testament of all our commitments into this domain. So again, I love the double down. Also, the Genesis sign.
Oh, that's what that is. Okay, we were wondering.
That's the meaning, the 2 lines of Genesis, and we double down on electrification.
The 2, gotcha. Yeah. The two lines and the doubling down.
Exactly.
Yeah. So with the Meta plant, will you have the supply chain that you need, the battery supply chain, to make sure that all those vehicles are fully compliant?
Well, we are working on that very diligently. As you know, not only we are committed to the assembly, but we are also committed to the battery production. So we created 2 joint ventures, one with LG Energy Solutions and the other one with SK On. The first one is in the same site as the assembly plant in Savannah, and the latter is in Bartow, also in Georgia. So this shows you our commitment to ensure the supply chain is the right one. It is not an easy activity, and then we have now much better visibility than we had a year ago. A year ago, the focus was, for the most part, about the assembly element. The assembly element, it only works if we also have the critical materials and the key components of the battery. So we are not out of the woods, but we're making some progress. We see the light.
So
Sure.
you mentioned the date has been expedited to October 2024 for vehicle assembly, but
Yes.
the battery portion will lag. So how will Hyundai deal with kind of making up the difference with the $7,500 tax credit? Because I know that's very important to consumers.
Absolutely, yes, you are absolutely right, Carly. So we are perfectly on time on the assembly. the battery plants, there were decisions that were taken a little bit later, and those projects go a little bit later, not too much later, but they are going to come together a little bit later. So the first cars that we will produce, they're going to get the batteries coming from other countries, from Korean suppliers, but they are probably most likely from Europe. Still, we are studying to be compliant.
Okay.
And then we will transition into the batteries that we are going to produce in the same campus. So I just want to remind everybody that this is really a major undertaking, because it's not only the assembly plant, the battery plant, but also Mobis, Transys, Globis. So our suppliers, part of the group, they are part of this, right? And they are getting components, they are assembling, and then ultimately it's getting into the plant. But maybe we will have to start from somewhere else as we transition into the localized production, but it's still compliant.
Okay.
Have you decided what's going to be the first product out of Savannah?
It's pretty much decided, but we have not announced yet. It's not 100%. So we'll wait a little more until the moment the communications guys will give us a green light.
I would presume it's more the engineers or someone in product planning who makes the decision.
Well, the business have a little to do with that. So. Yes.
Jose, you said in the beginning that Genesis would benefit greatly from the Meta plant. Can you talk a
Yes.
little bit about that at this point?
Yes, that was really very, very important. I think we were very pleased to produce the GV70 and the GV70 EV in Montgomery, Alabama. And then I think this is the reason why I believe the GV70 has become the best seller within the Genesis portfolio. And this gave us confidence to continue with the localization. So these new plants is going to bring Genesis, also Hyundai products, and also Kia products. But Genesis is the key. It's going to be the key foundation of the continuous Genesis growth. Genesis is a very good success story. We took it from basically nothing 8 years ago, and we've jumped up to creating a real luxury brand in price parity with the German competitors, well ahead of Japanese competitors in terms of positioning, and then also growing in volume, to be honest, limited by the capacity that we have and by the good success the brand is having also in other markets, namely Korea, right? So we want to ensure that the future foundation of Genesis in the United States is achieved in the Meta plant, and we get the most out of Genesis coming from that Meta plant as well.
What's your reaction to the EPA emissions rule? The timing seems improved, and especially relative to what's needed for building out the charging network, getting the Meta plant and other production facilities up and running. Does it seem doable?
Well, we welcome the announcement by the EPA. So we are members of the Alliance for Automotive Innovation. We've had a lot of intense discussions with the administration, and then we can say that still these rules are very challenging and very demanding, but I think that they are better than before. There is a little bit more time for the OEMs to achieve the goal, but ultimately by 2032 we still need to achieve 68%, right? So it's challenging for everybody. It's challenging for us as well. We're going to do everything that we possibly can to comply. This is our commitment. So we're working on that, and this is also one of the reasons we double down on electrification and also on plug-in hybrids.
Does Hyundai get the feeling that the White House fully appreciates the commitment that Hyundai is making to the United States?
You know, you never know. You never know. We are fully committed to this market. This is the most important market for Hyundai, full stop. Our executive chair committed a couple of years back a $10 billion investment in the country. The Meta plant site is already at 12.6, and then it's not only the money. The most important is the jobs we are bringing. So we bring in 40,000 jobs, direct and indirect, within very concrete companies within the group, right? And this is a big commitment. So in fact, we have also followed suit, investing in Korea to ensure that our Korean plants get ready for electrification. But you know, the largest investment of the company so far, and the largest outside of Korea, is here. So I'm sure at some level there is a very good understanding of our commitment, which I think is good. So this is a great partnership between both countries, and I think that's something that gives us very, very strong confidence.
Speaking of big partnerships, you are still working through your pilot with Amazon. You mentioned earlier in the week that it's been really successful at getting people through the sales process much more quickly. Is there anything more you can elaborate on, how much has been done, how far you feel like you are in the process?
Sure. I think we've come a long way on this announcement, and I wanted to still stress that this is a kind of a strategic partnership with both companies, right? And then the online sales is really unbelievable that the importance of the automotive industry, that being only one part of the announcement is the one that got the maximum attention out of all the press. But as a reminder, we also announced that we will utilize AWS in the group, and also that as of 2025, we're going to have Alexa in our cars, which is really very nice. So everything that you can do at home with Alexa, you will be able to do it for your car and from your car for your home, which is really unbelievable, right? So, but then coming back to the online sales, online sales is also for us very, very important. It's got a lot of attention. And then I think understandably, when we made the first announcement, people got this a little bit by surprise. And then there were some people who did not fully understand the concept, or thought that this was a way to compete with the dealers, or not at all. I was saying yesterday in this forum that you attended that, if there is one brand that I think is the appropriate one to take the torch of online sales in the industry, that's Hyundai, because we have shown, not only in the United States, but in other regions, and I namely mentioned Europe, where other OEMs have decided to remove the dealer model and try to go into all other models. We've said, however, we believe in the dealer distribution model, and we've been able to attract quite a good dealer groups from other OEMs, which has been quite interesting. So, so as such, what we said, coming back to this pilot, that this is a voluntary project, so the dealers can opt in and they can opt out. The dealer is the one who is selling the car, so the online process and the shopping process is made by Amazon, which are really the best at this, arguably, with all the facts that we all have and all the experience that we all have. But ultimately, the dealer is selling, and the dealer can choose the cars they want to put in the system, the prices, the incentives, the trims. So this is, I would say, the best of two worlds. And then what we did was to create a subcommittee with key dealer experts who provided very insightful input, very, very important, including their experts, etc., which has enriched the project even more. And we also engage with NADA. So we have an excellent relationship with both our dealer advisory boards and also with NADA. They told us, hey, we would like to be part of this because this is of interest, not only for the Hyundai network, but also for other franchises. We would like to be part of this. They are part of this. They've given us also good insights. And I think as we have progressed into having those sessions, these explanations, and not only they have enriched the content, the project on both ends, but also they feel more and more confident. And now we get a little bit the very positive sense of, hey, this is working very well, as the first dealers have started to deliver cars on this platform, and the feedback is extremely positive. And now they say, hey, couldn't we pull ahead? Couldn't we, So I think we're moving in the right direction.
Have the transactions so far included trade-ins? Are people able to sell their used car to the dealer as part of that deal?
Well, I don't know every single transaction, Jamie, but I know that we have about 20 dealers. We've done many, so and all of them we got very positive feedback. And definitely, we are not going to go online unless we have all the key features included. So this is not about checking a box. We want to do it right? And then we definitely want trade-ins to be part of the deal. We would like lease to be part of the deal, etc. So I assume some of these transactions may have already had some, but I don't want to confirm something we don't know it. The most important for me is two things. One, in terms of the transaction time, is moved down from around 3 hours to 15 minutes, which is really remarkable. So the customers are gaining a lot of time. And the second is that as a consequence of that, when the customer goes to the dealer to get the car, now they spend quality time with the salesman, focusing on the features of the vehicle as opposed to negotiating, etc.
Yeah, that's at that speed, that 15 minutes. That's I think what consumers have been asking for.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I think it's a breakthrough. It is a really breakthrough. And then you talk, I mean, the different behaviors by different brands, etc. But for the most part, the shopping experience has been too long for too long. As you know, in other countries, for example, the FI is managed differently by the same person. So, and typically in other countries, the selling process is shorter. Here, because of historical reasons, it tends to be a little too long. So I think this is a significant improvement for consumers that appreciate the most. The younger they are, the more they appreciate this. They don't want to waste their time. They know the product better than we imagine because all the features are on internet. They can check, they can see videos, they can see all the features, and then basically they can be much faster when it comes to the shopping process.
The online process does contemplate a dealer being involved because
Yes.
of the complexity of it. Will the consumer be able to jump off the digital platform at any point to go to the dealership, or is that not part of the transaction?
Yes, that's the intention. The intention is that the consumer is in command.
Okay.
And the consumer decides to go on and off. And then some consumers may just want to have off experience, meaning they go to the dealership, they still can do that. They want to do all online everything till the delivery, and they can also choose the car to be delivered by the dealer to their home, or they can say, okay, now I want to go to the dealer, I'm not sure about the feature, I'm not sure about the color or something. Yeah, no problem. They can go on and off. The customer is the king in all this process.
So it really sounds like geographics, it means something in this. So they're going to want to be able to connect with the dealer online that they can go see in person. So it's almost like an omni-channel in that sense?
That is right. So this is not meant to create competition between New York and Los Angeles. It's too far apart. The intention is to support the online process and then getting involved the dealers in the proximity of the consumer. That's what this is all about. So we want to create a seamless online experience.
Okay. That's an important clarification, I think.
Yeah.
One more question. Have any dealers, obviously most of the feedback you're talking about has been positive. What would be some of the reasons that dealers would opt out of being part of the program?
So the best to ensure you are really confident and they are really confident to get into one place is that they know that if they don't like it, they can come out. None of the dealers that they are in the pilot or the dealers that are participating in the preparation, in the subcommittee, etc., they're saying, "Oh, I'm not interested." Everybody is starting to see the value of this, and then I'm more and more confident because there is a win. Basically, they get access to more customers, and this is what we all want.
Great.
Jose Muñoz, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Carly. Always a
Thank
pleasure.
you.